Hello and welcome to another edition of For the Record. I'm Sean Murphy. My guest today is Sergeant Kyle White of the United States Marine Corps. He's also the coordinator for the Rhode Island Toys for Tots. It is that time of year. It's the Sergeant's first time on the show, so first of all, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
For those who aren't familiar with the organization Toys for Tots, what's it all about?
Basically, it's for underprivileged children. It all began in 1947, and then it just kind of, a couple years went by, the same guys did it, and then finally the Marine Corps as a whole set up the foundation, and now we do it all across the country and everywhere throughout the world that there's Marines.
And you just, the name says it all, Toys for Tots, kids for children, basically, right?
Yes.
It's interesting that, you know, the Marine people, there's turnover every year, but I can appreciate the fact that you know the history of Toys for Tots. You don't just go in to do your job, you know how it all started,
yes.
You know? And so how did that come about for you?
There's actually a conference that all the coordinators go to each year, and that's where we get our, like, how to do all the paperwork and fill it out and handle the public and everything else, and they teach you a little bit of the history of it. And
okay.
And it's also for us to be able to speak intelligently about the program.
Otherwise, you wouldn't want to come on the show today, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So let's talk about your background. How'd you start out? Obviously, you're a Marine now, and to where you are today.
Basically, after high school, I worked union construction in 2008 in the housing crash. And so I finally got tired of getting laid off, and my brother was a Marine before me, so I went to the recruiter's office and joined.
And it was that simple, huh?
It was that simple.
Would life have been different for you if the housing market never crashed? Because you still would have been working, right?
I think if the housing market wouldn't have crashed, I would have never joined. I would have stayed right in the union and kept working.
So that's what you were doing? You were building houses?
Yes, sir.
Well, it's a bad time to be doing that
Yes,
then,
it was.
back that way. So, but it all worked out for you now, right?
Yes, it did.
Do you love the Corps?
I do.
Yeah, you love the Corps. You were explained off the air, active versus reserve when it comes to the Toys for Tots. How does that work?
The Toys for Tots program is actually a Marine Corps Reserve Foundation. However, there are active duty Marines that are stationed throughout the country with reserve units. And basically, the active duty component at the reserve unit facilitates the training for the reservist. So we're there the entire month to ensure that when they come in, they have adequate training for those 2 to 3 days that they come in each month.
Now you, in Rhode Island, there's a big warehouse, right?
Yes.
And you try to load it up as much as possible with donations from people and also companies too, right?
Correct.
What are some of the companies that get involved?
Hasbro for us in Rhode Island is one of the biggest ones. Also, Cardi's Furniture, huge supporters of Toys for Tots. And then across the country, Toys R Us is one of the main contributors to Toys for Tots Foundation.
Seems like it makes sense. How about people donate gift cards? They can do that, right?
Yes.
Is it like toy gift cards, or could it really be anywhere almost?
It can really be anywhere, but we try generally more to toy stores, because then the foundation members, we can actually use those to go purchase more toys. So if it's easier for somebody to just get, a $20, $30 gift card and give that to the coordinator, then the coordinator takes that to purchase more toys.
And would they be able to get a discount because of the organization as opposed to just the face value of the gift card, do you think?
Depending on the business, but like Toys R Us, they have a deal worked out with the foundation. I'm not really sure the details of it, but generally when we go buy toys, if we're just buying 5 or 6 toys, it's the face value of the toy.
Gotcha.
When we're doing our large purchases is usually when they work with us.
Now your title is coordinator for the Rhode Island Toys for Tots. So we talked a little bit off the air about what a typical day is like for you. And not every day is the same, and it's certainly not typical, right?
Never.
What's going on? Well, look, because it kind of starts in July for you, and I would imagine what you're doing is certainly different than what you're doing now as we starting to get closer to crunch time now, right?
Yes. Basically, in the beginning of the year, back in July, September timeframe, we use that time to really organize the warehouse and get things set up to where it'll efficiently flow from when toys come in, how to distribute them, separate them, age, gender, get them bagged up. And then really our supplies start showing up, like our Toys for Tots boxes. That's the actual storage bin that we put out of the businesses. And then really October 1st is when it really gets going with the different events. Marines will go out to it and be in uniform for the different businesses or even individual families who decide to do events for us.
What are some of the events you do? Because there are many different things, right?
Yes. Like we just shot a TV commercial with Cardi's Furniture.
Were you in that?
I was not in Some of the Marines work.
Because I know you've been in some commercials.
Yes.
Yeah.
Some of the other events we did, like the Corvette Club of Rhode Island, just held it was like a breakfast type thing, but the entire club raised money and bought almost $2,000 worth of toys and then donated all those to the foundation.
Wow, nice.
So we just kind of went to the coffee house that they did the breakfast at and just kind of hung out and talked to the public and thanked them for the gifts, and we loaded up, took them to the warehouse.
And by the way, I would imagine on the website there's a listing of all the events that have come or are coming up.
There's a list of drop sites of
Okay.
all the businesses that have boxes at them.
Are there lots of places that just, is it easy to get a location to be a box drop location when they know what it's about, when they hear it's Toys for Tots, they're like, yes, definitely.
Yes, anytime a business wants to get on board with the program, they just have to email their local coordinator and just basically, hey, this is who I am, this is the business I'm at, and we would like to get involved. And then each coordinator has different process.
In Rhode Island, you are the coordinator, right?
Yes.
You cover the whole state of Rhode Island.
Yes, I
so
do.
you are everywhere.
Everywhere in the state.
Wow. But you don't mind driving. We talked a little bit about
No,
that. You're cool with driving.
Yeah, it doesn't bother me at all.
So for this project, this organization, it starts in July, and it makes sense for you to do some of the things that you are doing, getting the warehouse and stuff organized, because to be honest, people aren't thinking about Christmas. They're not thinking about toys or Toys for Tots in July, right?
No, typically not, and that's one of the issues I've ran into just between today and yesterday. I've had probably 6 businesses contact me trying to be a drop location, and I have nothing
It's
left
too
to
late,
support 'em.
right?
I can't get them on. I have no more boxes. I can't get any more boxes. A lot of people are unaware of how early the toy campaign actually begins.
They must not even notice them if the drop box locations, if they start getting set up early. If it's not in their mindset, they could easily just walk right past it and just not let it click in their mind, because they're there for some other different reason.
Yes.
You're in your position, you can kind of have an idea of maybe what the economy is like by what you see as far as donations and the amount or lack thereof, or how many Dropbox locations there are. What does it look like to you from your perspective?
Right now, throughout the state of Rhode Island, there's a little over 500 boxes distributed throughout the state.
Is that a lot, or is that average, or what?
I'm not sure. Would this be my first year? But I assume that is a lot, because originally...
It sounds like a lot.
Originally, I was sent 300 boxes, and I had to actually request more boxes from the foundation.
Wow. And how often do you find yourself having, does a business call you and say, hey, our box is filled up, we need to come and empty it?
Yes, it's one of 2 ways I work with them. Either they call me and say, hey, my boxes are full, I need more boxes, and I come and swap them out for them, or they call me, hey, my boxes are full, can I deliver all the toys tomorrow and pick up more boxes? So we try to work with each other's schedule, because like I said, with over 500 boxes, I can't pick them all up on the last day.
But do you have staff that are helping you out too?
There's an assistant coordinator, and then the Marines on the staff at the unit. We all kind of participate.
Okay, so it's not just you trying to go find 500 boxes and load them up in the trucks and everything like that.
It would never be possible.
Yeah. But as we get closer to when Christmas is actually coming and when you are wrapping it up for the year, are the boxes filling up quicker now?
Yes, the boxes are starting to really come in right now.
What are people putting in the drop boxes, and per your suggestion, what would be appropriate and what would be inappropriate as far as toy donations?
All toy donations, they have to be new, unwrapped toys, still in the original packaging.
All right.
The foundation, we accept toy donations for children all the way from newborn to 17 years old. Typically, the issue we run into is the older children, because a 16-year-old girl is not looking for a Barbie doll anymore.
Right.
So we typically have issues with our older children. But there are companies that work with the foundation who kind of tailor to that older group for boys and girls.
At the same time, a 16-year-old boy might be looking for a PlayStation, but there's probably not a lot of those that are getting dropped in the box, right?
No, not at all.
Because expensive well, what's the policy on electronics? If toy-wise, can they be donated to?
Yes, somebody can donate anything they want. If they want to go buy 5 Xboxes and donate them, they can.
Wow.
So
they'd be very generous if they did do that, right?
Yes, they would.
Let us take a short break and come right back. Before we go, I want you to give out the website for people to go and learn more.
The website's www.toysfortots.org.
All right. Sergeant Kyle White, coordinator for the Rhode Island Toys for Tots. We'll take a short break and come right back. I'm Sean Murphy. This is For the Record. Stay right there.
Thanks to your generosity, Marines have delivered Christmas to children in need since 1947.
Welcome back to For the Record. I'm Sean Murphy. Sergeant Kyle White, coordinator for the Rhode Island Toys for Tots, is with us. It's that time of year again. Having a Marine rotate every year, is that a good thing to keep it fresh and to move on to another assignment? Or would it be better, because I know we talked about maybe the possibility of a civilian coordinator working that could stay with the project like on longer term so that they're maybe a little bit more plugged into what's going on? What do you think about that?
I think each one has its pros and cons. I think, with the Marines turning over each year for somebody new doing it, it is a fresh look at how to maybe advertise or do the toy drives or the collections or distributions or whatever they want to change or improve. But then one of the pros for having the same person return each year is that some of the bigger companies and the returning volunteers, they know who to contact, that you've worked together before, who can do what, who can help you with what, I think. So, I mean, they both kind of have their pros and cons.
We talked about toy donations, but we really didn't talk about volunteers. Are you always looking for volunteers to help out?
Yes, we can always use more volunteers.
Civilians, right?
Yes.
Okay. And what kind of things would they do?
Generally, the most of the time, I utilize the volunteers in our warehouse, helping separate toys, sort toys, boys, girls, ages, 0 to 2, 3 to 5, 6 to 7. That's generally what I use them for. And then once we have the cutoff for toy donations and we're really filling all the requests for the individual families, we use them to actually help package the toys for the families to pick up.
Because it's long, tedious work, and the more people you have, the quicker it gets done. And like you were just talking, just trying to get to all the drop locations, it could take forever.
Yes.
We mentioned the website when we went to the break, and I know one of the things on the website is a listing of events, upcoming events and stuff. But what else is on the website for people to go and learn and see?
Basically, everything that's on the website is contact information for the coordinator. Also on there for the businesses that want to become a drop location or do a toy event. There's a request page on there, request supplies, request Marines to be present. Also to fill out their application for this is the day we want to do it, this is what we're trying to do. Basically everything and anything is on the website.
For if somebody wants to volunteer, they can use that contact information. And even at this late date, I know we're beginning to really wind down. You're still looking for volunteers, right?
Yes. And
still looking for anyone who wants to make a toy donation, right?
Correct.
But there is a sort of an end date where it comes to a point where you actually physically can't accept anymore, right?
Yes.
And that is?
For Rhode Island, our cutoff is December the 12th. Anything that comes after December 12th, we don't have enough time to separate it, sort it, package it. It wouldn't even get out to kids this year.
That's a good point, because they're thinking, well, I got it in time, I donated it, but they don't realize that there's a process that you have to go through the warehouse and through the proper sorting procedure before it goes out. And if you can't just do it on the last minute and expect it to reach somebody.
Correct, because once we receive a donation, it has to be counted. We have to turn in the numbers to the foundation. The foundation keeps track of everything, every dollar that is donated and every toy that is donated.
So you have to be very meticulous with the inventory.
Yes,
right.
You have to count everything and report everything and track everything throughout the year.
So even if they wanted to make a monetary donation or like a gift card donation, there still has to be some sort of a cutoff point, right?
Correct.
Right.
December 12th is our cutoff for both donations, monetary or toys.
So when you're watching this, remember, December 12th is the cutoff date, so get out and donate soon. We talked about businesses and their willingness to want to be involved, and we also talked about, your perspective on the economy. Do people seem generous? Do they still seem like they're willing to give?
Yes, Toys for Tots, it brings in a lot of generosity. It's a great foundation. It's been around forever. Everybody knows it's a non-for-profit, and one of the things foundation we pride ourselves on is our 97 to 3% ratio. 97 cents of every dollar that is donated goes to buying toys.
That's
and that
a pretty
last
good percentage.
3%, that other 3 pennies of that dollar, goes to buying packaging materials, the bags, the labeling materials, staples, pens, paper, in order to distribute the toys to the families.
Wow. Yeah, so that's a huge, if you think about organizations, so many nonprofits, and how much of what you donate really goes to its intended target individual, Toys for Tots, 97%.
Correct, because the Toys for Tots Foundation staff who do this year-round, none of their salaries are paid from donations. That is paid from a gift to the foundation we got back in the beginning when the foundation first came around, and the interest off of that donation is what pays their salaries. So anything somebody donates today, tomorrow, next week, none of that goes into foundation staff.
it's easy for, even at this late point, for just someone to drop a toy in the box. Is it too late for a business to want to get involved?
We're still allowing businesses to try to do individual events and have Marines apply, but this year it is getting harder for the businesses to be a drop location because we are completely out of boxes.
Right.
And the one issue was that people did not realize how early the season actually begins.
In July.
Because like we just talked about, there's
Yeah.
a procedure when the donation comes in. We still have to sort it, pack it, count it, and everything else. So they're under the impression that, up until Christmas is when we accept donations, when
Right.
that's not true.
How do you get, I mean, obviously coming on shows like this, you're getting the word out, but how do you get people to want to get involved earlier? It might be a lot to ask them to start getting involved in July because they want to go to the beach that day, but how do you get people to want to be involved, not only in donating, but also volunteering in the warehouse or everyone else that early? What can you do?
I think a lot of it would be doing commercials like this, television shows, radio shows, just getting the word out there. Also, the website is open year-round. Anytime people can go to it and visit it. Just basically, we need to step up the advertising.
I know that it swaps out every year with a new Marine, but do you think you guys, the way you're doing it, you kind of got it down to a science now? Like, is it a well-oiled machine the way you're doing it?
I believe the foundation is a very well-oiled machine. So like I said, they've been doing this a little over 60 years now, almost 70 years. So I think they've kind of got a lot of the kinks worked out of it.
Yeah. I mean, there's always something that'll slip through the cracks or anything, but you'll learn from it, maybe you improve the next time around. So when you're done taping here today and you leave, where do you go from here? What do? Do you literally go to the warehouse?
I'm going back to the warehouse today because we have a toy shipment showing up today from a donation.
Oh, okay. And is it a big one?
Yes, it is.
So that's going to take you the rest of the day?
It'll probably take me the rest of the week and part of the weekend.
Wow, that big, huh?
Yes.
That's huge. So encompasses unloading and then start sorting by age, demographic, like you said, and gender?
Correct. First thing would be to unload it and get it into the warehouse, open all the boxes, and then the very first thing is to count how many are there. Because we know what should be there, so we have to double check and make sure that it is there.
What is some of the odd things that you've seen donated this year so far? Toys are toys, but there are some unique things out there.
One thing that I've seen this year that interested me was the erector sets are starting to make a comeback.
Really?
Yes, the motorized erector sets that you build yourself at home, put the little motor on it, it'll walk around or drive around. They're starting to make a comeback, which really surprised me.
What do you think the reason for that is? Is it just like everything comes in cycles, maybe? Or
I think it is a cycle thing. Look at fashion. It's something that was cool in the 80s, wasn't cool for 20 years, and now it was cool again in the 2000s. So I think toys are kind of doing the same thing.
Well, that's cool. That's very cool. I like it. Cool. Let's take one more break, actually, and come right back. I'm Sean Murphy. This is For the Record. Stay right there.
They've stormed beaches and freed countries. Protected the weak and defeated the strong. Shown courage and compassion. They've raised our flag and our hope. They've been called leathernecks. They've been called devil dogs. But above all, they're called Marines.
Welcome back to For the Record. I'm Sean Murphy. Sergeant Kyle White, coordinator for the Rhode Island Toys for Tots. It is that time of year, and surprisingly, even as we tape this, it's actually coming down to crunch time. You get started in July, and you would love it if everybody else could get on board and get involved in them too. I wanted to touch again, as far as toy donations, if people are thinking about donating, a tougher thing is older kids. And what's the reason for that?
Correct. The older kids, the teenagers, 13 to 17, they're no longer looking for the Legos or the G.I. Joe toy soldiers or things like that. So it's a little bit harder to fulfill their needs when it comes to donating.
And one thing that it's not that easy to put in a drop box is bicycles.
Correct.
Talk about that a little bit.
Children as young as, the 3 to 5 age range beginning to ride bicycles, even with training wheels or whatever, a lot of families request they would like their younger children to get a bicycle or receive a bicycle. And each year, it's one of those things we always run out of way too soon.
Yeah. New bikes, we should mention new
Correct.
bikes.
It has to be a new bicycle.
So how do you donate that? So obviously you can't put it in a drop box. They just have to contact you?
They can either contact me, or even with these drop boxes, the toys don't necessarily have to be in the box.
Right.
So if a box is full, they can set it next to the box. Or if it's at an individual business, get with one of the workers or the manager and be like, hey, I have a bicycle that I want to donate. It won't fit in the bike. Do you want to put it in the back till the Marines come to pick it up? Or, you know, the managers that are on board with all their businesses, they will definitely work with somebody trying to donate.
When the businesses usually call you like at a set time, like maybe once a week, or do they just call you randomly when the box is filled up and they say, hey, this is filled up, probably need to come empty it? Or is it like sort of a once a week thing that you'll automatically go?
Each business likes to do it their own individual way. Some of them, like Cardi's Furniture, at the beginning of the year, they take a lot of boxes and they wait until the very end of the year. And they like to put all the boxes together, have Marines come over, and they take, a photo shoot where they have their whole donation. Other businesses, they have limited space, so they'll take maybe a box or two, and whether it takes a week or 2 weeks to fill up, as soon as it's full, hey, they're full. Can you bring me 2 more boxes? It's really up to the business how they want to do it.
I do like the idea of having them all filled up and putting them together and do like a photo shoot. It's good publicity. And it goes to show you that a lot of people want to donate and a lot of people get involved. So it's like a great shot to put, like on social media or something like that. I think it's a great idea. But I can also understand, once a box fills up at one location, let's empty it so that we can get more donations in it, right? So, and that's it. So you're still accepting donations, both from individuals and even at this late date, if businesses want to get involved, that's fine too, because you can never have too many toys donated, correct?
Correct. We can always use more.
And volunteers.
Yes.
And if they want to get involved in any way, what can they do?
They just need to go to the Toys for Tots website, select the Providence location, and that will bring up my contact information, and just get a hold of me, and we will get them into the warehouse and let them do some volunteer work.
When you check your phone, how many messages are you going to have on it?
Every morning I turn the phone on and the voicemail box is generally full.
Is that right? Wow. And what is the thing that they want the most? Is it just...
it's everything from more information on, what to bring with them to registration, where they can register, or it's, hey, this is business so-and-so, we want to get involved, need a little bit more information, or, hey, my box is full, come trade it out, please. It ranges.
There you go. Well, the important thing is that you do get a lot of volunteers and you do get a lot of toy donations, because it's a great, great organization, Toys for Tots. And not only do we thank you for your service to the country, but also what you do for Toys for Tots. Greatly appreciated.
Thank you.
Thank you for being on the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
That is our show for today. You can see the show, by the way, on our YouTube site. Until next time, I'm Sean Murphy. This is For the Record. Take care.